I'm really proud to be here today to speak on behalf of the Boeing Company. We have 20,500 employees in California, and as you mentioned earlier, that's been on the decline for the last 10 to 12 years. I think you mentioned a 30-some% reduction. That's about a 50% reduction to where we were about 10 years ago in the 40,000. So as a few of the members of the panel, I'm a native Californian. I grew up here in Sacramento, and I went to, I got my engineering degree from Cal State Long Beach. Now, it's not an MIT, but we did make it to the NC2A tournament this year, even though we lost in the first round. But I'm the vice president and program manager for the a program called the Family of Advanced Beyond Line of Sight Terminals. And it's an Air Force program. We provide the command and control infrastructure for the U.S. Air Force and the U.S. President in the event of a U.S. command and control strike using our nuclear forces. So very, very important capability for our nation, and I am the program manager for that for the Boeing Company. I work out of my office is in Huntington Beach, California. And today I'm going to provide you a little bit of a high-level overview, some prepared comments about what Boeing does in California, addressing some of the topics that the committee invited us to address, such as the role of the aerospace industry in enhancing advanced manufacturing in the state of California. I mentioned we have 20,500 employees in California. We work in more than 50 locations within the state of California. But the focus is on three major sites, El Segundo, where we do space satellite manufacturing, Long Beach, which is the home of the C-17 airplane manufacturing assembly, which is one of our heritage aircraft for the United States Air Force, as well as now internationally. And then in Huntington Beach, which our heritage is in space, command and control, communications type of business. We have some 5,700 suppliers to the Boeing Company in the state of California, and about $6.2 billion in sourcing goes to those suppliers in California. So Boeing is a big supporter of the state of California in lots of different ways, not only in our own employees, but also in the revenue we spend here in the state of California. And we have about 55,000 retirees that still live in the state of California, and we're happy to have them in a defined pension plan and really being a robust part of the economy. So that's a very good situation that we're proud of. So what is advanced manufacturing from a Boeing Company's perspective? So we look at it in two ways. There's manufacturing of advanced capabilities, products, and technologies, and I'll talk a little bit about those. But there's also advanced manufacturing techniques, tools, processes, and approaches that allow us to be more cost competitive and attractive and to make a widget for lower dollars. So both of those are important, I think, as we look at the definition of advanced manufacturing. In Huntington Beach, we manufacture advanced composite parts for aircraft and space applications. We develop leading-edge technologies such as thermal protection system capabilities for space vehicles. Huntington Beach is also the home of our advanced communications and command and control systems. And in addition to these specific product lines, we're using leading-edge manufacturing technologies for rapid prototyping of complex parts. We use fused deposition modeling and adaptive fabrication technology in order to be able to take a part off the design board and put it into a product in the matter of hours or days rather than weeks or months, so that we can take advantage of not only the design tools but also rapid manufacturing techniques to be able to play parts into a complicated assembly. So what do we see as issues and solutions in the near term? Well, we feel that the spirit of innovation is alive and flourishing at Boeing, and certainly our ability to thrive in California is probably more challenged than elsewhere within the U.S. from a Boeing company perspective. There are some near-term issues that are impacting Boeing's California workforce. Since 2000, as I mentioned, the Boeing workforce in California has shrunk from about 40,000 employees to about 20,500 today. Now, some of this is attributable to merging and integration of the various heritage companies that make up the Boeing company. But the headcount decline is really probably more symptomatic of a more serious problem, and that is the cost of doing business in California. A recent example for us was the move of our B-1B program from Long Beach to Oklahoma. The B-1 bomber was designed and built in California, and it was not an easy decision for Boeing to make to take and move the work in the workforce to Oklahoma. But as Boeing reviewed the anticipated operating costs for the next several years, it became clear that major actions were needed to remain affordable for our customer, the U.S. government. And the same cost barriers can come into play when the company looks at new programs and new services, both on the military and the commercial side of our business, and when we look at where to place that work. The challenges of doing business in California are not unique to Boeing and have well been cataloged. It is for these reasons that we applaud last year's rollout of the Lieutenant Governor Gavin Newsom's Economic Development Plan as a good start. The plan proposes solutions to many of the issues businesses face in California, such as cumbersome and complex regulatory environment that I think we all agree needs some level of streamlining. For example, the state imposes additional and unique rules regarding the workplace that necessitate specialized training classes for Boeing employees located here that many other states that I have employees working for me do not impose. So for us, support for the manufacturers, which I think is a linchpin of the U.S. economy, is another area that the Lieutenant Governor's Economic Development Plan addresses. California is one of only a few states that taxes manufacturers on job-creating investments in plant and equipment. So toward the end of the 2011 legislative session, Governor Brown proposed an economic development plan that provided a manufacturing investment credit for investments made for manufacturing, and we support that, and we're proud to be part of that governor's plan. This type of measure would help stimulate manufacturing in the state. So what about the future workforce? So we talked about kind of some of the challenges, where we've been, what the problems have been, but I think as we really want to focus this advanced manufacturing idea, we want to think about the future. So we've talked about the programs and operations and how innovation is at the core of what Boeing does and what we are. The embodiment that innovation is part of our workforce is really important. We employ 159,000 people across the United States and in some 70 other countries. And 123,000 of those employees hold college degrees, much like some of my colleagues here, a very high degree of education. And 32,000 of those are advanced degrees. So in virtually every business and technical field, we have people from approximately 2,700 colleges and universities worldwide, and engineers make up a little more than 30% of our workforce. But as the baby boomers have started to retire, we, like many other advanced technology companies, are facing an impending skill shortage. The Aerospace Industries Association estimates that while the U.S. graduates approximately 70,000 engineers each year, only 44,000 of those are eligible for work in aerospace due to security clearance requirements or of those natures. So that's also a challenge for us in the future. So in summary, look into the future. Everyone is familiar with the painful process that this country and our state is undergoing to address the debt issues, the affordability challenges, the attempt to regain this solid economic footing that we once prospered under. And I think this idea of reshoring fits very well where we want to go. Boeing has anticipated flattening defense budgets based on where the U.S. DOD is heading and with the U.S. government's budget woes.